You've reached the SeaBank Chronicles, a natural sound theater transporting you through the living science of Southeast Alaska. Produced by the Alaska Sustainable Fisheries Trust. This is Beth, your radio operator. We live in extraordinary times where science and mystery meet in a swiftly changing world. To enter the SeaBank Chronicles, just keep listening. Logbook 1, Transmission 4, Carbon Sink. Good news, you're receiving a supply shipment today. Pilot bread, chocolate, and the latest research on carbon science. You might have noticed some changes in SeaBank weather, record-breaking spikes in air temperature, atmospheric rivers dousing the landscape, interspersed with periods of low rainfall, even drought. The SeaBank has always been a patchwork of weather patterns. Skagway has historically received about 26 inches of rain per year, while southern Baranof Island might get over 200. Snow accumulates deeply in Yakutat. On Prince of Wales Island, it rarely lingers. This is due to differences in latitude, topography, and proximity to warm ocean currents or cold mainland air masses. But wider and longer lasting shifts in climate are afoot due to changes in our planet's atmosphere. The latest United Nations report shows that atmospheric carbon dioxide levels reached over 419 parts per million in 2023. That's 50% higher than 200 years ago, before the large-scale burning of coal and gas began on Earth. More carbon dioxide in the atmosphere means more heat trapped at the Earth's surface. But that box coming off the ship has good news too, besides the chocolate. It has to do with places like the SeaBank. Start by reading the article by Beverly Law of Oregon State University. She and colleagues from 3 other research schools convey what scientists have known for decades. Terrestrial ecosystems remove 30% of carbon emissions from the atmosphere. Certain forests are proven carbon sinks. They store more carbon over long periods than they lose during decay. A net savings of carbon dioxide is stored in their big, old trees. Calculations by environmental scientists like Gavin McNichol at the University of Illinois, Chicago, reveal that one type of forest tops the list for carbon sinks: cool, wet, temperate rainforests like those found in coastal Alaska. You've probably noticed by now that the SeaBank fits this bill. Why are temperate rainforests so good at storing carbon? For one thing, the season for photosynthesis is long thanks to the mild marine climate, so plenty of carbon is taken up during the course of a year. Second, one of the biggest releasers of carbon stores, forest fires, are extremely rare in such environments. In the SeaBank, you often need a tarp just to get a campfire going. What separates coastal temperate rainforests from other photosynthetically supercharged environments like tropical rainforests is that they're extremely slow to release the carbon they pull from the atmosphere. In the SeaBank, vegetation, especially evergreen trees, take not months or years or decades to break down, but centuries. When they get a hold of carbon, they don't let go. This is especially true about organic matter stored below ground, where microbes labor under damp, oxygen-poor conditions. The title of a 2020 USDA Forest Service article says it all: Forestry as a Natural Climate Solution. Managing forests so they can remove carbon from the atmosphere requires simply that we allow them to continue growing. Unique among your supplies is a personal message. John Schoen, who has studied Southeast Alaska forests since 1977, wants to relay the following. 1. The Tongass contains 20% of carbon sequestered by all national forests in the U.S. combined. 2. The Tongass is arguably the most intact old-growth forest left on our planet. 3. Much of this extraordinary forest continues to stand, which means we still have the opportunity to preserve its carbon sequestering potential. It looks like we're losing signal. We don't have time to cover blue carbon sinks, storehouses of aquatic-based carbon, like the SeaBank's abundant coastal seagrasses. You'll have to read the report from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration in your supply box for details. Find out how you can influence preservation of Southeast Alaska's blue and green carbon sinks in a future transmission of the SeaBank Chronicles. Until then, visit thealaskatrust.org/podcast for that NOAA report on blue carbon, a graphic of just how much green carbon SeaBank soils store, and an excerpt from an interview with forest scientist John Schoen. Gunish Chish to the Tlingit, Haida, and Tsimshian people for stewarding these lands and waters since a time beyond human memory, and for sharing them with all who make the SeaBank home. When in doubt, keep listening to the places where science and mystery meet.